So here is a short film to show you the main stock pairs of marine mills. So we'll go to box 1, and this pigeon is called Just for Job. I'll tell you a little bit about this pigeon. This pigeon raced in the Derby Arona. It was 3rd, 9th, 10th and 18th, 4 times in the first 20. It missed one car by 3 seconds and another car by 5 seconds, and is now one of our main breeding pigeons. We purchased it back off of Pippa. It has already bred a good pigeon in Victoria Falls in the final race that won money, which I'll be showing you later. He's a 2017 pigeon, so still only very young. There is a wing of Just a Job. Great racer in the Derby Arona. Most pigeons cannot even survive in the Derby Arona. So quite a big pigeon. Handles well. Very powerful. Big eye. I don't know if you can see his eye. Just a close up. One of our best birds. We just get a picture. Defends his box well. Very, very tame pigeon, but beautiful pigeon. That is Just a Job. Now I'm going to show you his main hen. His main hen is a pigeon that I've just acquired, very lucky to get. She is called Storm Home. She had already bred winners before I obtained her. She's a direct descendant of the Red Daniel itself. She's quite an old pigeon, 2013. Still breeding well. Had a decent pigeon off of it in the Derby Arona last year, and I've got one racing now in Victoria Falls in race 5 of Victoria Falls. Pure Staff Van Rate, typical of the Red Daniel blood and lines. So she is now the main hen for Just a Job. Her beak's a bit mucky because she's just bred 2 youngsters, but a nice feature that I like on hens. I don't know if you can see it, it's got like a little tusk under the beaks. I've always found that these hens with these tusk breed good birds. So that is a pair, both reds. Both fight to defend the nest. So mainly Van Reets. The Just a Job pigeon has got a bit of Jantylan in him, but they are 3/4 Van Reet. Okay, so the next pigeon is Red Dawn, that we sat on 2 of his babies. As you can see, 2 nice young birds. Not quite sure of the colours yet. So this is Red Dawn, who is off of the first pigeon that I bought when I started back up again. Red Storm, who was virtually a pure Van Reet, who was the only bird on the day. Aboard just 530 miles. Red Dawn is a father to Just a Job. As you can see, the similarity with the 2 pigeons. Should have got more youngsters off of him than I have, but the hen is not a good layer to Just a Job, so now I've paired him to a new hen. Nice pigeon, handles well, not quite as big as Just a Job, but still a powerful pigeon. He's Staff Van Reet and Jantylan, so they can fly the long distances, but they can sprint as well. That is the pigeon, red. So his hen, his new hen, that came back from Victoria Falls, is a pigeon called Floyd. who is from Just a Job. Just a Job is her father. This pigeon is called Floyd. It was 2nd GB, 70th International, Victoria Falls. Very, very hard race. Only 77 birds on the day. So she is now paired to her grandfather. Pigeon called Floyd. The races in Victoria Falls are really, really difficult. They may start with 3,000 pigeons and only finish with 200 in race time on some of the races. So very, very interesting. Hoping to get 2 of their youngsters back to Africa this year. That is Floyd. She's only been back in the country about 2 months because of the long quarantine period. A pair of pigeons is a pigeon called Birdy, which is a pure Alphonse Klaus pigeon. His name is Birdy, which reflects his breeding. He's off of a pigeon called Birdy that is inbred to the famous Birdy, one of the best pigeons that ever raced in the $1 million race. These incredible pigeons in the final race. Is no fancier has ever won as many one-off races as Alphonse Klaus. So there's a pigeon, Birdy. Tremendously strong pigeon. These are middle to long distance pigeons. They excel at hard races, 350 mile plus. The pigeon handle's superb, tail slightly down, with strong back, very small tail, thin tail, which is ideal. And there is a wing of Birdy, pure Alphonse Klaus pigeon from Germany. High hopes of these pigeons in the next few years. So the hen he's with at the moment is not his main hen. He's normally with an Alphonse Klaus hen, but I am trying them with some of the Van Riet pigeons. The Van Riet pigeons that we have are very, very fast in the shorter races, but we're trying to win the last races, so that's why he's paired to him. This is a pigeon called the Tame one. She's a Van Riet Van den Abel. She's already bred 3rd in the semi-final of the Algarve. She's a full sister to HMS Invincible, 2 firsts in the Derby Rona. Super pigeon, won thousands and thousands of pounds, plus the car race. So she's a full sister. Raced as a young bird up to 200 mile, but obviously kept her for stock. So we have some youngsters off of there with Birdy. Okay. So the next pair is a pair of pure Alphonse Klaus pigeons from Germany. This is a cockbird pigeon called New Europe. His father won the European Masters by an incredible 40 minutes and won £120,000. His descendants of Birdy and all the great pigeons that have won many great one-off races in Africa. His mother is a pigeon called the famous Miller that won the Ukraine Masters by a clear hour and was the ace pigeon. So both parents have won big one-off races in Eastern Europe. Superb pigeon, could be one of the last pigeons I ever buy. Perfect, absolutely perfect. Handles well, medium size. The last 3 flights on this pigeon, which is what you're looking for, nearly the same length. Also long and thin. Perfect textbook pigeon. Strong back, Don't want tails that stick up like that. If anything, slightly down. Magnificent head. Terrific pigeons. Hoping to send pigeons from him to Africa this year. There he is, New Europe. So one of his hens who he's with at the moment, I have got him to a few hens. But the hen at the moment is Blue Hen 2020 and her name is Space Purdy. Obviously the reason for her name being Space Purdy because she's from Purdy, one of the last great pigeons in the $1 million for Alphonse Klaus before the race ceases to exist. Purdy was a magnificent pigeons, going back to all the famous pigeons that have won in South Africa and around the world. Smaller pigeon, but nice, handles well, the type that could race well 350 mile plus, especially as young birds. These pigeons can fly into headwinds at 1200 yards a minute. Again, look at the flights of the pigeon. The last 3 flights are very similar length. Long, thin flights. We'll see which he breeds the best young birds with. Okay, so this, the Red Baron, and what makes the Red Baron so valuable is that his children breed one loft winners. So an example of this is his daughter, Little Tiger, who has bred HMS Invincible. Just a Job 2, Supergirl, many good one loft pigeons. Little Tiger, the daughter of the Red Baron. You can see the similarity, there's no mistake that is his daughter, and that is why he's so valuable. I'll show you. So the next pigeon is a pigeon that I call Irish Sea Pigeon. He's a Van der Beele. He's a full brother to HMS Invincible. He's from our best pair of pigeons. Big eyes, a little tiger. The reason I call him Irish Sea Pigeon, because as a late bred, a man in Southern Ireland purchased him. I believe he was kept locked up for about 13 months. He did breed some pigeons off of him, which I believe have flown St. Malo this year. Unfortunately, last year the pigeon got out, even though he'd only ever flown out as a late bred, so locked up, escaped in Ireland, and 1 month later arrived back in Leeds. So he's flown the Irish Sea by himself, with no exercise and no letting out. Superb pigeons. That's probably why these pigeons are so good in sea races. So I've paired him to a really good hen, which is a is a Alphonse Klaus hen. Superb hen, beautiful pigeon. Alphonse Klaus, related to Birdy and all the best pigeons of Alphonse Klaus. Long thin flights again, strong back, even a better back than some of the others, and they're good. Beautiful pigeon, third bar appearing on the end, on the blue bars, which is a good sign. Superb vitality, magnificent pigeon. Will be going back to another cock bird very shortly, which is an Alphonse Klaus pigeon. What more can I say? Beautiful pigeon, step up in the wing, Grey pigeons at 350 mile plus. Headwinds, these pigeons love headwinds and hard days, they thrive on hard days. This is why Alphonse Klaus has won so many final races in one-loft racing, which does seem to be now more where pigeon racing is going.
Go.
So the next pigeon is a pigeon called Hermes. It's a mealy cockbird, 2018 pigeon. He's a son of Red Storm, who we've talked about earlier, the first pigeon I ever bought. So this pigeon, beautiful pigeon, is the father of a pigeon that was 40th at Victoria Falls on the day when there was only about 60 pigeons on the day. And he's also the father of Stay Lucky, that was beaten by 1 second in the semi-final of the Derby Arona for the car and for the first place spot. She still won about £3,000. Stay Lucky, this is her father. He's only a 2018 pigeon, so he's got years ahead of him. Mealy cock, superb pigeon. Has been paired to an Alphonse Klaus hen this year. He's back to his old hen at the moment, trying to get some to send to some one-off races this year off of him. So handles well, beautiful pigeon, quite strong. He's in the molt, so you can't really see the length of his flights properly. But this is a pigeon called Hermes. Bred 2 really, really good pigeons off of him in his short life. Hermes. So here we have another Alphonse Klaus pigeon. This pigeon is called Blue Europe. A 2020 pigeon. Quite late, it's bred in 2020. More and more I look at this pigeon and more I like it. Medium sized pigeon again, third bar appearing, high vitality. Same wing feature on all these pigeons, long fin flights, last 3 flights nearly the same. New Europe. Super pigeon, handles really well. Not too big, not too small. Great looking cockbird. Shorter breed, loads and loads of big winners. At the moment he's paired with a sister to HMS Invincible, 2 times Derby Arona, Just the Job 2, second King Atlantic. Want to see how these pigeons hens are going to do with these Alphonse Klaus pigeons. But the Alphonse Klaus pigeons are going back to the main hens very shortly to breed pure Alphonse Klaus pigeons to send to Africa. So these pigeons are a sprint to middle distance, these Van Riets and Van den Abels. They're not really for 350 to 500 in headwinds. Very tough pigeons, seem to love racing across the sea. They've done tremendously well over the years. So full sister to HMS Invincible. I'll put this in another box at the moment because I'm going to show you the main hen for Blue Europe, which is the hen I showed you earlier. It's alright. The hen I showed you earlier, off of my price, will be going to Blue Europe very shortly. Just have a look at the pair. So Blue Europe with the pigeon related to my price, $1 million winner. Again, the youngsters off these very shortly will be breeding and going to Africa to the big races for next year. Okay. This is a pigeon called Dark Lord. It's a demeester pigeon. Long distance to marathons, bred some really good pigeons. He's a 2011 pigeon, but I've only had him since 2016. He bred a really good long distance pigeon for us called the Phoenix. The one from Fillets, second fed from Poitiers, only 2 birds on day. Tremendously hard race. Flew Bordeaux, his 12th race ever of his life. He's bred pigeons to do well in Africa, in hard races. This is a pigeon called the Dark Lord. Great pigeon, super high. Medium sized pigeon, again strong back. I like all my pigeons to have strong backs, especially the long distance pigeons. The tail should be slightly down, it shouldn't be up like that. There's a wing of Dark Lord. Flight's not quite the same as the Elephant Clouds, but it's still good, long and thin at the end. Very fortunate to obtain this pigeon. Like I say, I've only had him since 2016. If I'd have had him from the year he was born, 2011, I think he would have been a really famous pigeon. So his hen at the moment is now paired to his granddaughter. So she is half demeester, paired to John Olstead Stambis pigeon, blue hen, not very old, 2017 pigeon, already bred some beautiful looking young birds. I've just took 2 youngsters away from the nest off of her, so that's why Wall's that perfectly white. Interesting to see how he performs with this hen. This hen is a bit bigger, which I like for the Dark Lord, but we'll see. Again, I'll be sending youngsters to Africa off this pair. These are not sprint pigeons, these are long distance to marathon pigeons. So there's Big Eyes, Vanden Abeille. His children are producing really good pigeons. I have a grandson, I think it's a son, I'm not sure, racing in Victoria Falls at the moment, going into race 5 tomorrow, 14th of July 2001, which will be a very hard race. So this is his main hen that he's nearly always been with. This is Little Tiger, a Staff family hen. She's from a full brother to Red Dawn, who is off of Red Storm. We still have Red Baron, he's in another loft at the moment. May film and talk about him later. Red Baron is the father to Little Tiger, who has bred tremendous pigeons. She's only a 2015 pigeon, 6 years old, few good years left in her. This pigeon is responsible for 4 pigeons, this pair, in the final race of the Derby Arona 2019. So 4 pigeons are in the final race off of 1 pair. Many people cannot even get 1 pigeon into the final of the Derby Arona. Super pigeon, Staff Henry, from the Red Baron, who is from Red Storm. Sprint to middle distance, can manage up to 400 mile, but they fly fast, so they cannot fly real long races. Super pigeon. So there you can see the pair I call the golden pair that have bred big race winners. These are not club winners, these are big race winners for thousands of pounds. Big eyes, little tiger.
Go now.
So what makes him so valuable is his children are bred big race winners. So I'm going to show you an example. So this is his daughter, this is little tiger. The mother of HMS Invincible, Just a Job 2, Supergirl, lots of good one-loft pigeons. So the Red Baron, the father of Little Tiger, the mother of one-loft winners. And that's why pigeons off the Red Baron are so valuable.